All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, September 10th, 2019, and we just finished with week one of the NFL. And I hope you had a good first week. Hopefully, your team didn't do too badly, or if they did, hopefully week two is kind of a fresh start. The first week of the NFL is kind of hard to predict. It's kind of hard to imagine what the teams are going to be, especially this year, as so many teams sat like their starters in the beginning of for the entire preseason. So it was kind of a bumpy week one for some teams. So let's see how everything progresses here into week two. I went 12-3-1 on the picks last week, so some credibility stating right to get it out of the way. So let's go ahead and progress into week two of the NFL and give our NFL week two picks. So we'll see let's see how everything goes, and let's get it right underway with Thursday Night Football. This should be a pretty straightforward game based on what we've seen. The Buccaneers are 0-1, and they're going to Carolina to play the Panthers. The Buccaneers are 0-1 off a 31-17 loss to the 49ers, and the Panthers are 0-1 off a 30-27 loss to the Rams. So both teams, you have to look at the opponent they lost to and kind of go, all right, so the Panthers played the Rams pretty good, and the Bucs weren't able to do really anything against the 49ers. The Bucs had a lot of turnovers. Winston looked awful. The whole team looked awful, and the Panthers didn't look much better, giving the ball up a couple times. But they looked all right against the Rams. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Panthers in this one. It's also Thursday night home game. This typically favors the home team on Thursday night, so pretty easy to go with the Panthers, 30-17 over the Buccaneers. Plus the Bucs are just a mess. Not even Bruce could save it. Not even Bruce. The line, of course, is Panthers -5 with an over-under of 49.5. Go ahead and do with that what you will. Please don't use my picks to gamble because I don't want to let you down. Use other sources too. I can be a source, but not the source, because I don't want to be responsible for your money loss. So sorry about that. Well, and then let's go to the Sunday 1 p.m. games. There's 10 of these at 1 o'clock, so there's 5 and 5 on each page. So let's get started here. We have the Los Angeles Chargers heading to Detroit to play the Lions. No real big deal for the Chargers being on the road. They're very, very good on the road. I think they went 7-1 or 8-0 last year on the road. Very good. And they are 1-0 this year off a 30-24 win over the Indianapolis Colts in overtime. And the Lions also went to an overtime game, but they had 0-1. It was a tie versus the Arizona Cardinals, 27-27. Chargers are just a better team than the Lions, and I actually root for the Lions, so this is kind of whatever, but Chargers are a really good road team. They're a much better roster, much better coached. Anthony Lynn seems to be a better coach than Patricia so far, so this just seems like it's a home run hit for the Chargers, who travel well. Lions, I don't know what the hell that was. They looked dominant through the first three quarters. Like if they wouldn't have choked away the lead against the Cardinals, I would pick the Lions to upset the Chargers, but based on what I've seen in week one, it's tough. I got to see them beat a team and not choke away. I kind of have, I'm like, all right, it was the fourth quarter in the desert at a 4 o'clock game. The Cardinals took advantage of the heat, and the Lions gassed themselves. But we'll see how it plays out here. The line is the Chargers are 2.5-point favorites, and the over-under is 47. I got 27-21. Chargers take the game. And then this game, this is probably going to be a pretty straightforward game. The Colts are heading down to Tennessee to play the Titans. The Colts are 0-1 off of a 30-24 loss to the Chargers, as mentioned earlier. And the Titans are 1-0 off of an ass beating of the Cleveland Browns, 43-13. I don't really have to. I mean, it's clearly what's going to happen, right? This Titans defense is going to really mess up poor Jacoby Brissett. The Titans are home. No Andrew Luck, who kind of destroys this team, but no luck with that defense. The offense looks really good for these Tennessee Titans. This is just going to be a nightmare situation for the Colts because the only thing holding back the Titans usually was their offense, and their offense looked good. So give me the Titans 35-20. The line is the Titans are -3 and an over-under of 44. Let's go to the next game. This is another game where it probably won't be close as the score indicates because I think the Redskins will score some garbage time points. But the Cowboys are heading to Washington to play the Redskins. The Cowboys are 1-0 off a 35-17 beating of the Giants. Score was not as close as the game indicates. The score is a lot closer than the game indicates, and it's a blowout score. So, and then the Redskins are 0-1 off of a 32-27 very odd game against the Philadelphia Eagles, where they had a good first half and then 7 points in the second or something like that. Not a good game for the Redskins in the second half once the Eagles woke up. Cowboys were dominant from the onset of their game, so I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, the Cowboys, better team, better everything. 35-28, a lot closer than it indicates. Kind of like how the Eagles and Redskins game, the score seemed close at 32-27, but it really kind of wasn't once the second half got underway. So I sense a similar game because it is divisional, and it's the home team in a division game does all right. So I don't know. Cowboys 4.5 point favorites with an over-under of 46. Next game. I just think the Steelers are a bad football team. That's going to explain this, I guess. I was high on them before the season started, but after that 33-3 loss against the Patriots, they're 0-1. The Seahawks are 1-0 after a 21-20 win against the Bengals. Patriots beat the Steelers 33-3. Everybody knows. And I know the Seahawks played the Bengals way too close, but I think the Bengals are a very underrated football team, and I've always said that from the word go. And now that they've got kind of a good offensive young coach, they looked a little bit sharper at times on offense, even without AJ Green. So I don't know. This was a tougher one to figure out. I don't think the Steelers have really ever started 0-2 under Mike Tomlin. If not, if they have, it's been a long time since that's happened. But I feel like based on what I've seen in week one, the Seahawks looked real good in the second half of that game. And the Steelers looked goddamn abysmal the entire affair. So let's go ahead and go with the Seahawks winning. Despite, the Steelers are -4. The Steelers are 4-point favorites with an over-under of 46.5. I don't think they'll get any. I got 49, so yeah, it's possible. The Seahawks have a halfway decent offense. Steelers don't have much of a defense from what we've seen. The Patriots stopped scoring, so 28-21. I imagine the Seahawks win pretty easily, really, by like the third quarter, based on what we've seen week one. So, and then so my picks are basically I'm going on what I seen on week one to decide, if you can't tell, like how I think the games are gonna go. So, based on what I've seen in week one, the Packers, who are hosting the Vikings, should probably beat the Vikings pretty handily. The Vikings won their game. Both teams are 1-0. The Vikings won 28-12 against the Falcons, a game in which Kirk Cousins went 8 of 10 for 80 yards. So keep that in the back of your mind. He went 8 of 10 for like 80 yards. It was embarrassing. And then Green Bay won 10-3 against the Bears. Very tough game, very defensive game. And if the Packers defense really is that good, Vikings really don't stand a chance in this one, I don't think. And Green Bay's offense should explode a little bit this week against the Vikings, who don't have nearly as good a defense as the Bears. Still a good defense, but it's not the Bears. So just based on what I've seen, the way the teams played, the Vikings, yeah, they have a good team, but it's like if it comes down to Kirk having to throw the ball at all, even the Vikings didn't want him to throw the ball. And they were winning like pretty handily that entire game. They just went like, yeah, let's not have Kirk throw it. Let's keep him hidden. 8 of 10. Oh my God. And the Packers have a good defense from what we've seen. So the Packers are 2.5 point favorites with an over/under of 44.5, and I have them winning 21-17, even though it pains my soul to say that. Here's the rest of the Sunday, 5 more games. So we have a few more games to get through. This is going to be a snoozer. There's not much to talk about. Bills have a better defense than the Giants have an offense. The Giants looked absolutely pitiful in week one. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's go over this. So the Bills are playing the Giants. The Giants are home. The Bills are away. It doesn't really matter. Both in New York. The Bills are 1-0 after a 17-16 victory over the Jets. Very impressive comeback win. And then the Giants are 0-1, getting bullied by the Cowboys 35-17. Bills are 2-point favorites. Yeah, the Bills are favorites, right? 43.5 point over/under. So I would take the under in this one. Neither team's got that impressive of an offense, but the Bills have a top 5 defense, and that's just going to overwhelm the Giants. So I have the Bills winning like 20-14. And the best part is I only have the Bills scoring like 6 points on offense. They'll score 2 defensive touchdowns. Just let that sink in and kick 2 field goals. It'll be hilarious because it's the Bills. Why not? Let's see. And then this game, the Jaguars are terrible, aren't they? The Jaguars are heading down to Houston to play the Texans. The Jaguars are 0-1 after a very physical game against the Chiefs, in which they lost 40-26. And the Houston Texans are 0-1 off of a heartbreaking loss to the Saints last night, in which the Saints hit a game-winning field goal. The Texans are 9-point favorites against the Jaguars with an over-under of 44.5. And I have to agree, until I see this kid Minshew play quarterback, he did very good in relief, not trying to take anything from him. I want to see a start. There's full tape on him now. Let's see how he responds to being team being prepared for the way he plays, and a defense not being ready for Nick Foles. And, it's not the fucking buttery softness of the Chiefs defense either that you can just kind of throw against. It's whatever. I'm just not. The Jaguars, man, that's a disaster. Their defense looked terrible, and that was supposed to be their strong suit. I think the Texans have a much better team than them. I think it'll be Saxonville, but it's not going to result in anything. Like, they're going to get to fucking poor Deshaun like 8 times, but it's not going to result in anything noteworthy. So give me the Texans 24-17 and an easy win for the Houston team. Like, it's not even going to be close, you guys. It's going to be fun to watch. And there's not much I can say about this game. The Cardinals got very lucky. They're 0-1. They tied the Lions 27-27, and the Ravens destroyed and just beat the hell right out of Miami 59-10. The Ravens are 13.5 point favorites with an over-under of 46.5. Not much analyzing to give here, folks. Ravens are going to kill the Cardinals. I do 6 points when I don't think a team is going to score any points. That's my shutout. When you see a 6 or anything under 10, that means I think they're not actually going to score any points. They might get 3. I don't know. The Cardinals offense was terrible. The Lions, I don't know what happened to the Lions. I think it was the home field advantage for the Cardinals that had something to do with it. The Lions kind of gassed themselves through the first 3. That Arizona heat escaped and they got into the stadium and the Lions got gassed, and it is what it is. You can look, I might be overanalyzing that, but I mean, the Lions looked tired in the fucking fourth when the fucking Cardinals looked fresh, practicing in black jerseys in that heat every day. Lions practice indoors. Figure it out. Ravens should win this pretty handily. 35-6 is my prediction. Could be greater than that. Probably will be greater than that. Ravens look real good. This is probably going to be low-key one of the most exciting games of the week, is the 49ers traveling to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. The 49ers are 1-0 after a 31-17 beating of the Buccaneers, in which they forced 6 turnovers. It was hilarious. And the Bengals are 0-1 after a 21-20 loss to the Seahawks, in which they looked better than everybody thought. The Bengals are 1-point favorites because they're very good versus the NFC at home. I think they're 10-4 or 10-4-1 or something like that. Andy Dalton is, so that's pretty good. And the over/under is 45. This is a tough game, right? I think both of these teams are kind of equal, but I think the 49ers have a better defense, a little bit better offense, a lot better coaching. Even though both guys are kind of from the same coaching tree. Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Gruden. I think they all kind of come together. I think they were on all in Washington at one point with Zach Taylor, Sean McVay, and Kyle Shanahan. So this is kind of like they all know each other sort of on offense. Should be interesting. The Bengals can make a statement with a win here. The 49ers could jump out to a 2-0 statement win here against a team that might actually end up about 500. I don't think the Bengals are a 3-win team, everybody, especially since they're going to get AJ Green back. And they might have won that game with AJ against the Seahawks. Who knows? But I think the 49ers right now pack a little bit more punch on offense. I think their defense is a little bit better right now. I think they're going to have a lot of good momentum after that game, because they kind of were behind at one point and then stormed back. And I think as the season goes on, the 49ers will get better as the chemistry builds. So I think this is one of those big games for them where they can kind of get out to a nice 2-0 start, kind of establish a nice cushion of a record. And yeah, I don't know. I like the 49ers winning 28-27. Another game there's not much to discuss here. The Patriots won their game 33-3, and the Miami Dolphins, who are hosting the Patriots. Yeah, guess what? The game isn't in fucking January this year, so there's no easy win for the Dolphins against the Patriots this season. They got it early, so no Miami Miracle coming. The Dolphins are 0-1 after a 59-10 loss. The Patriots are 18.5 point favorites, and yeah, that's not a typo. They're 18.5 point favorites with an over/under of 47.5. There's not much to say here. The Patriots are going to dominate this team. The debut of Antonio Brown. I don't know how many people aren't just going to play for the Dolphins this next week. It's just going to be a disaster. Can a team surrender before the game? I don't know. 42-6 is my prediction, so like 42-0 potentially. Poor Brian Flores. So those are the 1 o'clock games. Let's jump to the 4 p.m. games. There's 3 of them. This is probably going to be a little bit of a fun game to watch just because I think the Chiefs are going to be tired. Jacksonville back to Kansas City, now to Oakland. So that's a lot of traveling, a lot of miles on the body. The Chiefs are going to be playing a game without Tyreek Hill. I wonder how they respond. Mahomes is playing with kind of beat up ankles. So, there's some question marks for the Chiefs heading into this one. Raiders are going to be hot. They're coming off a lot of momentum. They feel really good about themselves. So I have this score a little bit closer than what most people are going to have it at, but both teams are 1-0. Jacksonville, the Chiefs beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 40-26. Raiders beat the goddamn Broncos last night 26-14. And yeah, so I think the Chiefs win about 35-24. Obviously, they have a better team, but there's some question marks that could make this game a lot more competitive and a lot closer than we're all thinking it will be. Chiefs are 8-point favorites, over under 52. The Raiders looked really good in their win this last week, so we'll wait and see. But I think this is going to be this could be a trap game for the Chiefs. If you're a Raiders fan, there's a good shot you guys could pull something off here. I'm not going to call an upset because I don't really trust your team that much yet. This is a game where you could trap the Chiefs. They're without their best receiver. The quarterback's banged up. They traveled a lot. And this is a division rivalry. So however you want to look at this is ripe for an upset, but I won't say that. That's not my upset pick. I don't really have any upset picks. It's all very obvious this week who's winning and who's not. So let's go to the next game. We have the Chicago Bears being hosted by the Denver Broncos. Both teams are 0-1. The Bears, of course, lost 10-3 to the Packers in a defensive slugfest, and the Broncos are 0-1 after losing 26-14 to the Raiders. The Bears are 1-point favorites with an over/under of 40.5. And basically, I think this is going to be another defensive slugfest for the Bears. But I think since they're not playing the Packers, who have an incredible offense, their defense is going to run roughshod, probably score a couple times. Even if their offense does nothing, I think the Bears defense is going to score a couple points off of a Broncos offense that's not the greatest. Sorry, Broncos fans. Your offense isn't that good. If you had a good offense, you probably would have scored more than 14 against the Raiders. So, sorry. Bears should probably win this pretty handily, 17-6, which means I don't know if the Broncos can score. This is eerily similar to the 2000 Ravens, this Bears team. So that's my opinion on it. So however you want to look at that, absolutely nothing at quarterback, but decent pieces on offense and an elite defense, like above an elite defense. So let's go ahead and move on. Good dog game right there. Wow. This was the hardest game to decide for me. The Saints are going to be playing the Rams in Los Angeles. How fucking fun. The revenge game. Both teams are 1-0. Both teams won 30-28. And the Saints won 30-28. Rams won 30-27. And the Rams are -3, so the Rams are 3-point favorites, and it's an over/under of 54. So do with that what you will. But the way I looked at this is, since they both had pretty similar games, neither team looked that good throughout the duration of the game. Both kind of started slow and looked a little bit better in the second half, especially on offense. But their defenses were both kind of but you have to kind of look at who they played. So the Rams played the Panthers, and they kind of struggle beat the Panthers. The Saints struggle beat the Texans, a playoff team. So when I look at things like that, I'm like, all right, so the Saints are, they didn't exactly look the greatest against the Texans, but they still won, and they beat a playoff team. Whereas the Rams, they struggled against a team that won 7 games or 6 games last year. Nothing really stood out against you. It's whatever. This is a hard game to call this early. The Saints are going to be playing with a lot of revenge on their mind. This is an extra motivated game for them. They get to go do it in the Rams' house. There's not much of a home field there anyway. The Saints are coming off a tougher game against a better opponent. I like the Saints winning this game 35-31. Go Saints. Sunday Night Football. So those are my 4 o'clock picks. Sorry, I don't know why I jumped so quickly. Let's go to Sunday Night Football. Just one game. It is the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Atlanta to play the Falcons. And if it's a repeat, the Eagles are 1-0 with a 32-17 victory against the Redskins, and the Falcons are 0-1 off a 28-12 victory loss against the Vikings. I have the Eagles are +1 favorites with an over/under of 51. I have the Eagles winning too, simply because you lost to a team with a quarterback who went 8-10. Your offense was anemic. Your defense was pathetic because you just I don't even know what that game was against the Vikings for the Falcons. I had a lot of hopes for them coming into the year, but apparently those are all dashed. Eagles looked really good against the Redskins, especially once they kind of got into a groove there in the second half. I expect that that momentum to continue into this game. So give me the Eagles 31-24. So that's my Sunday Night Football pick, and there's not much to it. It's just the Falcons look terrible. Like, they looked exactly like they did last year, even worse, because they didn't have an offense. So 34-21 or 31-24. Congratulations, Julio, on the big deal. Monday Night Football, just one game this week, and it should be an interesting one at that. The Cleveland Browns are playing hosted by the New York Jets. The Browns are 0-1, as are the Jets. The Browns lost 43-13 against the Titans, and the Jets lost 17-16 against the Bills. Browns are 2.5-point favorites with an over/under of 46. And I think the Browns are going to win this game. I'm not going to pick the Jets to win a game till they actually win a game this year. I think they spent money on the wrong pieces, and I'll stick to that until they actually prove me wrong. And I'll see Monday how good they look. So I think the Browns are going to use that loss as a super motivating factor. They're not going to want to look as bad as they did on national TV. They know they have some weaknesses. They can address it. They can work on it. They got that out of the way. We'll see how everybody responds, but I think the Browns are going to respond quite well and win 27-20. So that's my Monday Night Football. Week 1, I went 12-3-1. Week 2, we don't know, so I'm at 12-3-1 for the year. So far a good week for NFL Pick'em stuff. Hopefully I can continue my last year trend where I had a really strong year of going I finished over 60%, so that's the goal this year. 12-3-1, good start. Hopefully we do it again. If you've got some picks, leave them down below. We'll see who continues to do better. By now, you've already seen that I commented back on all your picks and seen who has a better pick'em record heading into week 2. So we can continue that. Just make sure you comment down below. Comment with what you think of the picks. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Now over 2,000 subscribers, which is crazy after last week. Thank you for the 10,000 views on that last one. That's crazy. Thank you guys so much. Let's try to get like 2,000 or 3,000 on this one for views. Yeah, that'd be cool. Leave some comments and likes and subscribe and all that. How do you guys feel about the NFL? It's finally back. We're finally here. It's real. Fun first week. Fun Monday Night Football game. Patriots look good. Antonio Brown. All sorts of drama heading into this week. So I hope you're excited. I hope you're ready for a fun year of football. Thanks for listening. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Go Patriots. Sorry they're so long. So peace out and have a good one.